There we go. Is there a way for me to like load it to the cloud? Okay, whatever. So yeah. Hi guys, my name is Jack Bonnell. I'm doing a special topic Zoom meeting this morning, talking about the importance of setting good habits right off the bat. That's just ranging from literally everything. Uh, I chose this as my special topic because I didn't do this until about 2/3 the way into first semester, or I might have honestly just waited until second semester to actually set those good habits and make sure I was keeping myself healthy, getting everything done on time. And so I just figured it's something that I could speak on and like encourage people to do a lot better than I did. So like, what was it? It's also like I started with COVID. You guys won't be. But so right off the bat, I was in a single dorm. I was in a single dorm, like didn't really meet that many people in my dorm because of COVID. People weren't interacting that much. And so right off the bat, I had very limited social interaction, which is something that's kind of important for mental health and just general well-being. And so that sucked. So I'd encourage you guys just go out. Like, I hope you have roommates if that's what you want to do. Get along with your roommates, be nice with them, set like important boundaries and stuff right from the beginning. It's a lot harder to retroactively go back and be like, hey, can you clean the side of the room more often? Those are things like just day one, set that habit. Like, hey, let's every other day sit down for 30 minutes and just get everything clean, or discuss some more rules or boundaries to set, stuff like that. It's so much easier to just get that done right off the bat. Yeah. I didn't have a roommate, so I don't know that much about that, but that's a lot of things that some of my friends I made later said was a bit rough with their roommates, like taking out the trash. In the end, it ended up just being the one more responsible one doing it 90% of the time. And so I doubt you want that to be you, taking the trash, doing the dishes, sweeping the floor every single time. So just set that boundary, set that habit. My room was like constantly a mess probably, but the one thing I'd sit down and do for my like sanity was every Saturday, or whenever I ended up getting my laundry done, I'd just take an hour honestly to fold my clothes, just sit there listening to music, watching a show or anything, just folding my clothes. It was a I'm not studying, I'm not doing homework right now moment. And it was actually really good for me. I might have lost it at times if I hadn't just had that 30-minute to an hour laundry folding session. It sounds ridiculous, but it is what it is. Let's see what else. So yeah, with food on campus, definitely try and establish some sort of eating schedule. I think as incoming freshmen, you all have to have is it the Flex 19 plan? Yeah, so use it. I mean, don't waste the campus cash. I think I had like $200 left at the end of my semester because I didn't really realize it was a thing first semester. Over in the Blue 2 or the KFC, whatever you want to call it, it's the separate cafeteria. They have sushi that you can buy with your campus cash. I didn't know that was a thing until like the last 3 months of second semester. And so I'd have like sushi almost every day off of that, but I still didn't use it all because I didn't know it existed. And just like make sure you have good eating schedule as well. At one point, I think it was like during finals week, I was just in my room, a single room, so I don't even have a roommate to remind me to go eat. And I went a solid 48 hours without eating anything. Like I'd leave my room to go to the bathroom, fill up my water bottles, and then get right back in there and study. That wasn't healthy. Don't do that. It was a weird realization when I like woke up one morning. I was like, when was the last time I ate? And I had to like backtrack through 2 days to figure that out. And then at that moment, I was like, okay, I need to go to the cafeteria and eat something right now. So make sure that you just keep track of that for your physical and mental health. It's not one of those things you think that you'll like need to pay attention to, but especially during finals week and stuff, time just kind of blurs together. people are in the library till midnight, 3 a.m, 5 a.m, whatever, studying, and you can just lose track of basic things like that. I mean, this is a dumb one, but drink water. I walked past someone once who was lying on the floor in a study hall, like in a study pod in my dorm. And I kind of knew her. So I stepped in, I was like, hey, are you okay? She's like, no, I have like a horrible headache, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay. Have you eaten or drank water recently? She's like, I don't think I've drank water in like 18 hours. And so I went into my room and handed her a water bottle. It's all these random things that you don't think you'll forget to do, you will forget to do. So just make a habit of doing them. If you have roommates or like close friends that you're studying with, make these habits together so that you do them together. Most nights I'd meet up with friends, grab dinner, and then head to a study room in their dorm. And we'd spend like 2 or 3 hours there. But like we were studying, but we also made sure that we were eating and socializing and not just being recluses in our rooms and not getting anything done like with our lives. So it's all these things that I'm going to be repetitive here. They sound like stupid nothings. Like, how could I ever forget to drink water for 18 hours straight? Wait till finals week. Then you'll know that feeling. Same thing with study habits. I talk about how I studied for 48 hours straight. It wasn't really studying. A lot of it was just a Netflix binge while I studied. And so like it wasn't the most productive studying, but at times it's how you get through giant chunks of things. It's like I'd often go for suboptimal inefficient studying when I was by myself that I could drag out for so much longer. So like I'd have a TV show on in the background that I was watching as I studied. And so yeah, every 5 minutes I'd get distracted, look up and watch the show for a few minutes. But that also allowed me to study for 6 hours in a row without just losing my mind. So like it's a it's a pro con thing. You lose some studying time. Like it's not as efficient, obviously. Like I'm getting done in 6 hours what I could probably cram into 3 hours if I was really going at it. But if I really went at it studying for 3-4 hours every single day or longer, I would lose my mind if I was doing that by myself. And so find something like play music that you like, watch a TV show, group study sessions. Like you'll chit chat with your friends for a lot of it, but it also helps motivate you to go learn. I'd say 95% of my socialization that I had this first year at college, just due to COVID and living in a single dorm and lots of other reasons, was while studying. And so it's, yeah, it sounds kind of sad when I say it like that, but studying is a great thing to do. Do it with friends. It makes it more bearable. You can get more done. And then you have those different insights into things that they do differently to study. Like I'd study with a group of 3 or 4 friends for chemistry, and I'd take like a lead on a lot of that. And then they'd like ask a question out of nowhere that I hadn't even thought about. And so like, it's not just helping you to not lose your mind while studying. It's also beneficial because it's multiple angles, multiple perspectives. You might think of something differently that can help them realize it themselves, or vice versa. Or the 4 of you together can think of some cool new acronym to remember the diatomic elements or anything. There's a lot of random mnemonics that I have stuck in my head from those 3 a.m. caffeine fueled study sessions where we were like desperately trying to find a way to memorize some list of anything. Like one I still remember from high school was the diatomic elements that like typically form, a diatomic pair are hydrogen, oxygen, fluorine, iodine, bromine, nitrogen, and chlorine. That's HOFIBRNCl, half a barnacle, half of a barnacle. Like you come up with the dumbest like mnemonic devices and these things, but it helps. It's like study with friends. You'll make all sorts of connections you never would. Even if you're like the smartest person at TCU, study with a dumb friend. They'll ask a dumb question that you didn't even ever think to ask, and you'll actually like sit there for 5 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, just going like, how do I answer that in a way that makes sense? It's like a tool I use a lot. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's like the learning pyramid. It's like the bottom layer is just you retain 10% of information or something. I don't remember the precise numbers, just by watching the lecture, listening to the audio, whatever. You retain another 10% by taking notes over the lecture while you're listening to the lecture, rereading them, annotating them. Actually, I'm gonna see if I can pull up the actual thing so I'm not just talking out of my butt. Where's my Google page? So what I mean to say is like the top layer of that pyramid. Oh, found it. Let's share this screen. Share screen. Here it is. Boom. Can y'all see that? Awesome. So yeah, it's this right here. And so yeah, you get 0 to 10% just from the lecture, another 10% from reading it, another 20% of it total from audiovisual stuff. I don't know how accurate these numbers are, but as you get down, demonstrating, like doing stuff with your hands, like I'm talking about molecules and I'm like wiggling my hands around in the air when I'm talking with friends. I'm like drawing in the air, trying to show the angles. That helps. Discussion, we just sit there, sometimes arguing about the best ways to explain something. That helps you really, like when you're defending your points, you know why you make those points. That applies to all classes. It's like in chemistry, when you're talking about something, if you have to explain your answer in a discussion, that proves you actually know it. Practice doing the problems, that's a lot of it. And then teaching others is the one I'm really, like I really focus on, because I mean, I'm a TA, hi. Teaching others is what helps you retain the most information. It's because you don't have to just know it, you have to know why you know it and then be able to explain that to the others. And so you basically have to be able to do all of these steps in one. And so I'd encourage you to find a study group. I had like 2 study groups. I had a study group with friends who are just as smart as me, and that's where we'd focus on discussion, demonstration, practice doing. And then I'd have a group of friends who like weren't as good in that class. They were better in other classes, other type stuff. And that's where I'd really focus on the teaching others. It's like, I didn't even think of that going into this. Have 2 study groups. It sounds random. It's just one. This sounds kind of condescending. One group at your level so that you can really focus on these steps. Then another group that could use a little bit of extra help. That way you can obviously help others, but you're also selfishly boosting yourself. It sounds horrible to say. I'm like, oh yeah, go find some idiots and teach them chemistry. That way you can do good. But like some of my closest friends were in my teach others study group. Like they're not idiots. It's just chemistry isn't something that clicks with them the way it does with me. And so I can help them get through that class. I can become better friends with them in the process, and I can help myself get through that class. It's a win-win-win. It just doesn't exactly sound amazing when you say it out loud. Like, I'm gonna see if any of these have a different combo. Yeah, I know it seems pretty consistent throughout. So yeah, just okay, boom, we're back here. Focus on that aspect of studying. Like learn how you best learn. Use that to help others learn. Like when you're teaching others, you don't just have to know how to do it. You have to know 5 ways to do it so that you can go through and talk to several, like, and teach them multiple different ways to see which way best clicks with them. And from that, you usually end up making your own weird way that combines the 5 different ways you just Googled to teach these people. And it's the most efficient way for you to do things. I realized I've slipped into more of a studying tips talk now. Let's see. What are some other good habits to establish? Studying habits is an important one. I call that under my jurisdiction in this talk. So yeah, we talked about eating, drinking, studying. Sleeping habits are important. I always tried to get, like, it didn't happen like almost ever, but I tried to call 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. nights out, like lights out every single night. Even when it didn't happen, I'd feel bad for going to bed at 11:30. That's not bad at all. So it just works out really weirdly. I have friends who'd be staying up to like 3 every morning, living on Bangs, Reigns, Monsters, energy drinks, coffee, stuff like that. And they don't realize it, but they're like slowly just driving themselves into the ground. They're running out of energy. They're dying. And then I'm like, yeah, I went to bed at 11:30 last night. I feel kind of bad right now. It's a very big difference. And like you'll lose some study time, but it's not productive study time when you're up at 4 a.m. You haven't slept in 26 hours and you're 5 monsters in. So like set those important sleep habits right off the bat. Like choose what works best for you. If you don't have classes till noon, yeah, stay up till 3, but don't wake up till like 11. Just balance that out. I always threw in the early morning classes because I knew I could like hold myself to those sleep habits so that I could be awake for those morning classes. And like the professors aren't dead yet in those morning classes because they wake up at like 5 every morning. And so they're perfectly wide awake at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. But by 3 a.m., 4 a.m., they've taught that class 5 times that day. They're getting tired of it. So they will forget to mention one little thing. They won't elaborate on this thing, or like they're just tired of answering the same questions over and over. They'll still do it. They're all great people, but like you don't have that same energy then. But like if you're able to get up at 8 a.m. and participate with these teachers who are perfectly awake, they're ready to teach the class that morning, I think you get a better educational experience then. I think that's half the reason I have this TA job is because I had that 9 a.m. chemistry class and I had my camera on and I'd ask questions every now and then. That's all it takes. Your teachers will love you for that. Just have that little bit of energy in the morning, have that early morning class and participate, and just things will start happening. Like your teachers will call on you for something now, and then they'll send you like an extra problem that they think you might like to practice or blah, 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 blah. And slowly you build this relationship with your professors. And then like, you'll be the one they reach out to when they need a TA. You'll be the one that they ask to help them with this. It's like I had Dr. Green first semester of chemistry. It's like, I'm joining her research lab this fall. And I attribute like half of that to being awake at 9 a.m., asking questions in class and having my camera turned on Zoom. Like you guys won't have that Zoom camera on aspect, but you can sit like front, second row, raise your hand often, show up 5 minutes early, ask her a few questions before class, shoot her an email when you need to, or whoever you have. It's just like the teachers are there to help you and they love to help you. And so let them, and they'll appreciate you for you letting them help you, if that makes any sense. It sounds so convoluted when I start trying to speak. So yeah, that's honestly probably the most important habit, is getting on your teacher's good sides. Like make that good first impression and don't stop there. Like keep the ball rolling, get that initial momentum and keep it going. Don't just like show up for the first 5 classes and be like, oh, hi, Dr. Fry, how are you doing? And then just never say anything to her ever again. That doesn't do much. She might have some slight positive view of you because of that, but whatever. So like, okay, I'm not saying like, don't brown nose. Don't just like, don't be horribly like obnoxiously like kissing up to them or whatever. Like that's just as bad, honestly. But like just be genuinely kind, friendly, like make it a habit to say, how are you doing this morning or whatever, and they will appreciate you for it. You'll feel good for doing it because like you're just being a nice person. Their lives can be rough at times. It feels good to be nice to people and it will help you in their class. That's a very important one. Be nice to your teachers. They didn't pay me to say that, I promise. let's see, what else did I talk about in the Zoom, in the thing? See, oh, got my camera. So yeah, make sure you eat, make sure you sleep, make sure you drink water. Do we need to go to Maslow's hierarchy of needs here? Like, take care of yourself, interact with other humans. That's important. If you're joining a sorority or a fraternity, don't let that take over your life. I have friends like you'll be rushing first semester. Like, yes, recruiting, whatever it's called, it will take over your life to an extent, but make sure you have non-Greek life interactions with people. Make sure you still get sleep. Make sure you meet up with friends. Make sure you study. Like, don't let that consume your life. I have friends who like died all of first semester because they were rushing, and now they're doing great second semester, or summer classes, going to the fall semester. They have so much more energy. Just no, don't let that take up your entire first semester. I don't know, are any of you rushing / going into the recruitment process? Yeah. It's like just keep that in mind. Uh most of the seniors and juniors or whatever in the frats will, like, if you tell them like, hey, I have a giant test tomorrow, I can't stay up till 3 a.m. being not hazed, but like, going through the rushing things, like memorizing this pledge, blah, blah, blah. 90% of the time they'll be like, okay, cool. Just like, let me know when you can do it. Communicate with people. That's another one. That's an important habit. Get good communication right off the bat. That goes with your professors, with your classmates. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier with roommates, with your superiors in like a club or a frat organization, fraternity, whatever. Let them know and your parents. Communicate with your parents. They'd appreciate that. So yeah, like, just talk to them, let them know what's up with your life. Like, if you are missing a class because you're, like, I don't know, driving somewhere, let them know a week, 2 weeks ahead. And like, yeah, they probably won't just say, oh, you're fine, and not excuse your absence. They might, especially if they like really like you and you've done great in the class, but they will help you to work around that. They will make sure you can get the notes ahead of time so you can go through them. They'll try and clear up an office time so that you can go talk with them. They will do anything they can, really, if it's like not a ridiculous ask of them, to help you get through something like that. Like what I was just saying with your pledge master or whatever, if you have a test tomorrow, literally just say, hey, let them know a week ahead or whatever, and just say, hey, I can't stay up till 4 a.m. this morning. I have to be up 4 hours after that taking a final or taking my midterm or blah, blah, blah. I have a huge essay due in 2 days. I need time to write that. Let them know that. They will help you work with that. If they won't, I mean, you might not want to be in that organization in the first place if they can't work with you. I probably shouldn't go into that. I mean, whatever. Also, same thing, roommates, communicate with them. If you need to study for an essay, if you need to be studying for a test, writing an essay, and you need quiet time in the room, say, hey, can you go hang with your friends right now? Or, hey, can you keep it down on that side? I'll put headphones on, or just something. Like, let them know that. There's people who will just get annoyed with their roommates for them doing something that they've never told their roommates that it annoys them. So like, roommate has an annoying alarm clock wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. If you just sit there in silence every morning and go, and just complain, but never say anything about it to them, they're obviously never going to fix it. And then one day you'll just explode at them and start yelling. Say it like on day 2, be like, hey, can you change that alarm soon? Can you set it for 6 a.m. or whatever instead of 5? Just like, let them know right off the bat that it annoys you. Don't build up that pent up anger. It will come out eventually. It will cause drama, and then you still have to live with that person for another several weeks. So make sure you just get that out of the way as soon as you can. Communicate with them on everything. You might want to like make a habit of every week you'll just have like an hour of time that you'll just sit down, like grab dinner or something and talk about the things that they did, that you did that week, that bothered you or that you liked or something. So like, I don't know, you'll go grab dinner at the dining hall and you'd be like, hey, when you had your girlfriend in here till 2 a.m. last night, that was distracting. I was trying to write an essay. I know you guys were just talking, but I needed to write an essay and you were distracting me. Or like when you barged in at 3 a.m. or you left or blah, 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 like do it more quietly, stuff like that. Just let them know. Don't let it become something that just slowly drives you insane and makes you hate your roommate. It's how you like come to hate your roommate and have a miserable first semester, is if you just let those small things grow and grow and grow until they just push you over the edge instead of just addressing it right from the beginning. Let's see. Communicate with your teachers, your roommates, literally everyone. Like it's one of the key foundations to having any relationship is communicate with them. And so just make sure you do it. Let's see. What's another good habit you can set for yourself? Make it a point to just like know random people from everything all across campus. It it sounds weird, but it can make every day walking across campus that much enjoyable. If you go to the dining hall and the lady who like swipes your card to sign you in, if you said hi and talked with her before and like she knows your name now, you know her name, and you have a pleasant 10-word exchange every time you go in there, that makes it so much more pleasant. It's an actual human interaction instead of just a card swipe. And like that makes your day that much brighter. You had a bad exam that morning, like you don't feel great about it. You go into the cafeteria and like the lady smiles at you, says, oh my gosh, how are you doing? Swipes your card, blah, blah, blah. That can brighten your day so much more than you think it will. And just if you have all of those little tiny experiences all across campus every day, it really slowly adds up. Like make friends in every major. Like I'm a chemistry major. I have like dance major friends, art major friends. I know some English majors at TCU, math majors. Like I know people all across the spectrum. It's like you're walking across campus and you'll randomly see them and you can have that pleasant 5-second, 10-second interaction with them that can brighten your day, brighten their day, and just overall make the campus a happier place. So like, again, it's one of those random things you might not have thought of right off the bat. Be kind to people and be friends with a lot of people all over, because it can really just add up slowly and slowly. Like you don't realize it when you don't have it, but when you do have it, it just can really make your day that much better. So like the days I'd walk across campus and not see anyone I knew, those days would kind of suck. Like I didn't realize, as I went to bed that night, like, oh my gosh, this day wasn't as great as it could have been because I didn't see like those 3 random people that I do sometimes. But looking back on it, the days that were like just a little bit better were the ones where I did say hi to the lunch lady, or I had a 10-second conversation with the professor in the hallway as I walked by, or I saw a friend I hadn't seen in a week or two as I walked towards a class across campus. It's just those little things that slowly add up that can make your day great, or those little things that can slowly just bite away at your whole year or whatever, like when I was talking about with your roommate and stuff earlier. So don't like forget to think about those small things, like circling back to eating and drinking water. I'm like really hitting on those because it is really weird how easily you forget to do those things. I like don't even know how to explain it, but yeah, it's a weird feeling when you just look back and you're like, I haven't eaten in 24, 36, 48 hours. So Dr. Green. I'm away for her. Hi, Dr. Green. How are you doing?
I'm good, Jack. Just gonna jump in to say hi.
Hello.
Everybody. Jack in Colorado.
Ooh. Look at the view-ish, kind of. There's a lot of trees in the way.
Beautiful. I'm glad that you're getting that time. Jack worked really hard this last year, so he deserves a break. I was just going to jump in, see if anybody had any questions or if Jack had any questions or anything. No? Okay. Well, Nick and Amelia, I've seen y'all yesterday. Brooke, it's nice to meet you. So Jack, I'm going to pop back out. You know how to reach me.
Yep. Bye, Dr.
Good to
Green.
see you.
Have a great day. Good to see you too. That was fun. Dr. Green is amazing. This is still on a recording, so she'll probably see this later, but she's an amazingly nice human. I don't think she's teaching intro to chemistry this fall, but like go to her, just swing by her office at some point and say hi, especially if she already knows you two from doing this. She's like a great person to meet on campus. She's a great resource to have going into future years, especially if you're on the chemistry track. And I don't know, she's just like an amazing, like motherly figure on campus who's like, you look tired, go sleep. Have you eaten today? Go eat. She like really like, she's the one who holds you to like a lot of these habits, especially if you've like done things with her. Like obviously she's not keeping track of 300 students, but like the dozen students that are like with her in classes, labs, doing stuff with her, like she will, like you'll go to her office and chat with her after you finish your lab in the class. And then she'll be like, Jack, you look exhausted. How much did you sleep last night? I'll be like, 3 hours. She'll like, go take a nap before dinner. I'll be like, yes, ma'am. And I'll go take a nap. She's a great resource on campus. I'd really encourage all of you to do something with her that you can. Join the chemistry club. She's one of the sponsors. I'm the vice president of outreach for that. And so a little bit of a, why am I blanking on the word there? Free advertisement isn't where I was going for, but yeah, a little bit of an advertisement there. Do it. It's great, especially since we have in-campus things this year. That's another great habit you should set for yourself, going to those bi-weekly meetings. I'm only half joking here. It's like, it's actually a really great resource if you're going into chemistry. Like I forgot to ask you guys, what are your majors? Nick, Amelia, Brooke?
Neuroscience.
Nutrition. Oh, I'm sorry, Brooke, you can go.
No, you're good. Nutrition.
Same here.
Okay, fun. Yeah. Nick, I actually started as neuroscience and then I enjoyed neuroscience. It's just I was doing a lot of chemistry related things. And speaking of Dr. Green, I was just like chatting with her in her office. And she was like, why neuroscience? And I was like, oh, I don't really know. She's like, have you considered chemistry? And now I'm a chemistry major. Neuroscience was great though. Like I really enjoyed that first year of classes. I don't know much about the nutrition track, but I do have a few friends on it and they're enjoying it. So yay. I think there's like, I still think you should all join the chemistry club. It has useful resources. We're sometimes like the first to find out about certain events. We throw on events. We have like meetups every week. I think there's free food. You know, going back to that, make sure you eat thing, show up for the free food. I can't even say that's why I went because all my meetings were on Zoom, but I'm really excited to have in-person meetings. I hope to see you guys there actually. That'd be a fun, like, oh, I remember you from Zoom classes. So let's see. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, that's awkward. Brooke?
No.
Awesome. I'll try and think of a few last minute things to throw on here about things I wish I'd done better or just done at all my first year at college. I'm trying to think of things that aren't just directly COVID related because you guys won't have that same experience. Like, are all of your classes in person? I think they should mostly be, right? Yeah. I had 0 in-person classes my first semester. and like 2 labs in person second semester. And so like the really big one for me was meeting people. Like some of my closest friends now, I just randomly had 3 classes with them, with one of them, like my first semester. And so then they reached out and they're like, hey, you want to make a study group? We have several classes together. And then from there, it's like I joined their friend group, and it's like now we're pretty close friends. So that's another thing. Reach out to people who you have shared classes with. Like you don't just have to be friends with your fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, roommates. You can you can make friends with other people. Shocking. No, like if you sit by someone in class like 2 or 3 days in a row, like they're doing well in the class, they're doing better than you, like talk to them, ask if they want to form a study group. Like obviously you might not always get yes. They'll say like, oh, I'm already studying with these guys or blah, 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 blah. But like, it's worth a shot. You can make some good friends doing it. It'll help you study more, going back to studying habits, and just like, never hesitate to ask. Like, it's cliche, but the worst that you can get is a no, right? Like you ask someone like, oh, hey, can like we join a study group? And like, they just be like, no. And then you can just go, okay, never mind, and move on with your day. Like they could say yes, and they could become like a great friend of yours. So it really just like why, like bouncing my computer around. It all just comes down to why not, right? Like, what do you have to lose? Literally nothing. You'll just get told no, but you have so much potential to gain new friends. You have potential to get better grades in the class as a result. And so it's no net loss win-win scenario. So I'd shoot for it. I didn't do it very much, but thankfully other people did. Having that camera on in class really helped me out. So yeah, same thing, like sit front row in class, ask the professors questions, like interact in the class. People will take note of that in like a very positive way. If you do that, you might get swarmed by people asking to be in your study group. So like, obviously you can't study with 15 different groups every week. So like, I'd suggest, learning a polite, hey, like, sorry, I already have a few other study groups. I'd like love to help you out every now and then if I can, but like, I can't commit to anything. It's like have some go-to line like that or something that you can work with, especially if you're like doing the sit in front row, raise your hand, ask questions involvement thing, because that will attract people to you for study groups like a moth to a flame, and that will destroy you. So like, here's another habit: learn how to say no. Your roommate says, hey, want to go out and like go grab food at like 2 a.m. from that pizza place across the road? Be like, no, it's 2 a.m. I need to sleep. I have an essay due, or blah, blah, blah. Someone's like, the 20th person says, hey, can I join your study group? You can say no to people. Learn how to. That is like not just a college skill, that's a life skill that took me halfway through first semester to actually get good at. And I'm still kind of not good at it. And so don't overwork yourself. One of the things that they constantly tell us, like counselors at my summer camp, is you can't pour from an empty cup. So like, if you need time off, take it. It's the same thing with college. Like, you can't help someone study if you are just drained completely on the inside. Make time for yourself, like allow yourself to recover. Know how you get energy back. So like, to go to the kind of iffy like introversion extroversion scale, like if you're an extrovert, like yeah, you can get that energy back by hanging out with people. But if you're introverted, that will slowly be draining you. You can still enjoy that time, but it can still take energy from you. So like, set time aside to read a book, watch a movie by yourself if you need to, like treat yourself, like let yourself recover so that you can help others if you need to. And like, the key to all of that is learning how to say no, learning how to say, I can't do that right now, or asking someone for help. Like, it all comes down to like 3 or 4 basic things that don't sound that hard, but they're kind of hard to bring into action. Like, I'll admit I've ignored like midnight texts the night before quizzes or exams asking for help on a problem because I'm in bed. I'm falling asleep. If you texted me that at 3 p.m. like this today, I would have answered it. I would have loved to help, but you're texting me at 12:30. I have an exam in 7.5 hours. I'm going to sleep right now. Learn how to say no. Learn how to take care of yourself. Don't let yourself become just bogged down and swamped by like helping everyone else but yourself. It's not good for you. And then when they don't do well, it's like you can blame yourself for that at times if you've like always said yes to them. It's like that was actually something that I didn't always love about study groups, is like when it's people you helped learn the material and then they didn't do great on an exam, you kind of feel a little bit guilty, like, oh, how could I have better helped them study for this? And like, it sounds dumb. You might feel a bit guilty for your own good grade. Don't let that happen. Like, yes, you might have been able to do something better, but there's a lot that they could have done better, or maybe they couldn't have done better, and that's the best they could have done. And be proud of yourself for helping them get that far. Just keep that in mind. Like, you are not responsible for others. Like, you can help them, but never do it at a detriment to yourself. Like, allow yourself, like, fill your cup up to the point where it's overflowing into others. Don't just constantly drain your cup into theirs and just let yourself run dry. It's how people like run out in college. They will drop out because they just don't have the energy to do anything anymore. You'll realize the night before, oh my gosh, I have 3 essays and an exam tomorrow, but you've spent the last 3 weeks helping everyone else with their problems. And then like you're screwed. Like, goodbye scholarship, goodbye, all that stuff. So like make sure that you take care of yourself before you can help anyone else in life and college. Like, when did I become a motivational speaker is what I'm wondering right now. So yeah, just can't pour from an empty cup. That's what I'm gonna reiterate right now. So yeah, basically this whole talk in summary has been eat food, drink water, make sure you sleep, talk to people, and be nice, but not at a direct cost to yourself, because that's worse for you in the long run. All these things that sound stupidly simple when you say them like that actually are like very annoying to implement and practice. And so just be on top of them yourself. Have friends, roommates, or whatever who will help you keep track of yourself, be accountable. Just, yeah. I'm just like laughing at myself because like, make sure you eat food, guys. Yes, duh. But you will forget. One last thing, like call your parents, I guess, like text them, let them know how you're doing. I didn't do that very much. I'm like, I don't know. I'm sure my mom wishes I'd called home more, texted home more. And then I have friends who like are FaceTiming their mom 3 times a day. So like find that balance where you are still gaining your independence as someone going into college, but you're also keeping your parents in the loop, letting them know what you're doing. Like, you're still their child. They still love you. Let them know what's happening. But again, not at a cost to your own college experience or like letting yourself develop outside from them. So in everything, strike that balance. Like, find how much you can help others without hurting yourself. Find how much you can call home without losing all of your independence. Find out how much you can eat without just being in the dining hall constantly. No, that one's just as bad as not eating. Though, you know, stepping in the dining hall is fun sometimes. And then, yeah, I'm trying to think of any last minute things that I was planning on talking about. I think that's the gist of it. Just remember those small things. They will add up and they will make your life great, or they will make your life hell. So just be on top of it from the get-go. If you notice something starting to stack up, don't procrastinate it like I love to do. Address the issue right then and there. It's a lot easier to deal with 5 problems stacked up at once than 20. But in the moment, it seems a lot easier to be like, I can just let them keep stacking up. Like, that's future me's problem. As much as I love to do that, it's horrible for me, and I'd advise you don't do that. When you have that essay, start writing it like as soon as you can. Don't wait until a week before to even decide what your essay is about. Be proactive, not reactive. And that's about how I will sum it all up. Just be on top of things from the get-go. Try not to get behind. And when you do get behind, I'd always just like if I got like a week behind in work, or not a week, that would be horrible. That would suck. If I'd get behind in work, I'd literally just block off 4 or 5 hours and just cram it, like get homework done, write my essay, plan it out, and get back ahead as soon as you can. It's like, don't try and just catch up. Don't try and do the minimal that you need to. Try and get as much done ahead of time as you can. And then you'll realize that you forgot something and you can go and fill that time in. If you just like meet the goal and do that bare minimum and then realize you have something to do the night before, you're screwed. But if you have a 10-page essay and you think you have it all planned out, and then you go and write it and you only have 8 pages of material, if you have a week left, that's fine. But if you waited until the night before to write it, you have 2 pages of essay you still need to write. And you have no clue what to write it about. Just like give yourself that extra time so that you're not just dying when it actually finally comes around. Yeah, we are about on time. Have any more questions popped up? Oh, Amelia.
So you mentioned that you changed your major from neuroscience to chemistry. Like, how did that whole process go?
Okay, so yeah, so like just to preface this, like I chose neuroscience randomly. Like I clicked it, it sounded cool. It's something I was kind of interested in. I'm just generic pre-health right now, or pre-med, and so like it didn't really matter what the specific major was. I was just like going that direction. And I talked to people in neuroscience, has a very great, like, you check almost every single box you need to for med school within the major itself. There's almost no out of major classes you need to take if there are any. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll choose that. And like I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like just super clicking with me, if that makes sense. Like I enjoyed like having to write the essays and blah, blah, blah. Like some of the more menial work was just like dragging on me. And then like my best grades were in chemistry. I was in the chemistry club, and like then I'm like now the vice president of outreach for the chemistry club, like talking with Dr. Green. I'm like joining her research lab in the fall, blah, 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 blah. And so like everything I was doing extracurricularly was chemistry. And like I didn't choose neuroscience for any particular reason in the first place. And so I was talking with Dr. Green once, and she was like, why are you neuroscience again? Like, I don't think you ever really told me that. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And I basically told her what I just told you guys. She's like, okay, have you considered chemistry? And then like I put it off for like a month. Looping it back to that last conversation. Don't be like me. Know what you want and go for it. And then like literally a week before finals week, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it, as I was studying with someone. And so like I went and changed my major like right then and there. So the way it works is like you go to the MyTCU, and I don't specifically remember where everything is, but it's a really easy process. You log in, you click on like probably like my profile or whatever, and you go to your major and you submit a major like change request. And so I literally just said, I'm currently neuroscience. I want to be chemistry. And I pushed submit basically. And that was it. Then 3 days later, I got an email back saying, congrats, you're now a chemistry major. It's a really easy process. It's just make sure you're doing it for a reason, if that makes sense. Before I changed it, I like looked into like kind of making my own major track, which is like, I think TCU is really good at helping students do is personalize their learning plan. It's just, I couldn't like find all the classes I needed to take to like make it an actual reality. I was going to try and do like a neurochemistry more approach, but there's not enough classes that fall into that like thing to make it an actual major. It's like, it's a major at like 2 colleges. it's a thing, but it's very weird and like kind of hard to get classes that actually make sense in. And so I just changed it to chemistry with psych minor. And so I'm like still kind of doing that. And that'll just be like the thing I focus on for research projects in the future, because that's where I'm interested. But yeah, changing your major is a pretty easy process. Just make sure you talk to an advisor or a professor before doing it and that you have a reason for doing it. Don't just, hey, why not? Like I do. Does that like answer your question or?
Yeah, that was actually really helpful because like I'd been like Googling like because like right now I'm like majoring in nutrition because I thought I was super interested in it. But like now I'm kind of back at that like I don't really know what I want to do. So I'm like just I wanted to be like proactive in case I do find something that like clicks better or something.
Yeah, that's good. It's like, it's your freshman year, right? Are you going to your, yeah, it's like your classes are generic core classes, intro bio, intro chem. There's about like, there's a lot of majors that fall under that. So like if you change your mind at the end of first semester, second semester, it's not a huge deal. You can go back and switch it with very little things that you'll have to make up, if any. It's like, think about it, but and be proactive, but like at the same time, there's not some huge like do it now, your life is ruined if you like go through one semester without like and then change your major. Like my brother changed his major at a different college like his junior year and he still graduated in the 4-year track. It's like I don't encourage that because he had some rough like hours one year, but it's doable. And don't like just don't stress yourself out over anything that you don't need to. And like that's not something as a rising freshman that you need to be super stressed about. I didn't change my major until the end of my first year. And I think I took one class that I didn't really need to for like 3 hours. So, and it was still an interesting class. And I think I can apply it to a core or something now. So it's like, keep it at like the forefront of your mind, but don't let it consume your thoughts right now. Like right now, just go to college. Like if you think of what you want to change it to before college, that's amazing. That's great. But like your freshman, like your fall semester, don't constantly be going like, oh my God, what should my major be? I don't know if I want to do nutrition. What should I change it to? Just like keep it kind of cycling there in the front every now and then, but like focus on making friends, establishing good habits, doing well in classes, like changing your major from nutrition to like, let's say biology or something is not what like needs to be right there on top of your mind. Anything else?
Okay. No, that was really helpful. I'm good.
Nick, Brooke, anything?
All good.
Awesome. Let's see. Oh wow. I almost ended perfectly on 10. That's surprisingly punctual for myself. Yeah, this was them. And just I will re-summarize again. Make sure you eat food, drink water, get 8 hopefully hours of sleep every night, talk with friends, roommates, teachers, just communicate and be a decently nice human being to everyone. It'll make your day happier, their day happier. And then finally, just you can't pour from an empty cup. Make sure that you don't help others at a detriment to yourself. That is the summary of everything I was trying to talk about today. And I hope this was a helpful session. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope to see you guys in my other later tutoring sessions or classes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Go Frogs. Bye.